Okay, so my conspiracy theory is that CBS is purposefully trying to bait me to go on either Big Brother or Survivor because people on this show keep doing things that don't make any fucking sense. CBS, I'm not going on Survivor. Your girl needs to eat. I'm sorry. I need to eat. I can't do that. But you might successfully bait me into going on to Big Brother because what people are doing does not make logical sense. Like at all. So, we have Rome here. He's not playing smart at all. And I already know that he didn't win because they showed in the clip for next week that he says, I just feel like I'm running the game right now. You should rename it Survivor Rome. Yeah, that means you're not winning. He might go home next week, actually, because he said that. But anyway, so Rome found the box, the nesting doll, as they're calling it on the On Fire podcast. He couldn't read it because when he dug it up, it was nighttime. So he hides it. So then he decides that he needs to tell somebody about it because it will get them to trust him more. So he decides to tell Teeny and shows Teeny the box. So I know there's a lot of crossover in the fandoms of people that are Big Brother fans and people that are Survivor fans. So those of you that are watching this current season of Big Brother will recall Chelsea saying in the beginning of the game, she was not in a rush to get into an alliance with anyone because it's like, I don't know you. I don't know if I want to work with you or not. And that is the smart thing to do. Because why would Rome tell Teeny about this advantage when clearly the foundation between them had not been built for Teeny to keep it a secret? Like, it very much gave that he just picked a random person to tell and was going to try to start an alliance with them. So because there was no foundation built, Teeny immediately tells Keyshawn. And so Keyshawn and Teeny go and find the box. And so they're looking at the box. Well, as they're looking at the box in the morning, here come Rome and see them in the box. I'm not going to lie. When Rome came out of like the trees and saw them in the box, I literally was like, because I was like, what's going to happen? Now, this is a question that I have. For those of you who don't know, I host spaces Thursday nights, the night after Survivor airs, so you have a whole day to watch it, because, people are in different time zones and such. I have a space where I discuss the show. Tevin, who was on last season, Tevin Davis, who we all know and love, he came to the space. He found me on here on TikTok. He came to all of my spaces for every episode. So what's that? 13 spaces, 14 spaces. And then after the finale airs, they're allowed to talk to us. And so he talked to me. And he talked to me. And I interviewed him. My regulars that come to the space got to speak to him as well. I'm still in communication with Tevin. We're besties now. And he still comes to the space. And so it's amazing to have his perspective because he's played this game. So what I'm going to ask, because I thought it was going to be discussed on the On Fire podcast, it wasn't. Jeff, run me my money because I plug your podcast every week. Run me my coins, Jeff. But anyway, so I'm going to ask Tevin if, since the box was just on the ground, had Teeny decided to take that idol, could they have done it? Because I know on the podcast, Jeff has said before, look, if you dig through somebody's bag and you find an idol, you can't take it because I guess technically it's in their possession. But because that box was just sitting there unattended, could Teeny have taken that idol? So I'm going to ask Tevin. Tevin may or may not know. If Tevin doesn't know, I am going to submit a question to the podcast because I need to know the answer to that. Because I was thinking before Rome walked up, can Teeny just take this? So hopefully I will get the answer to that and I will report back to y'all later. I've decided I can only talk about, because I don't want to have to make 2 different videos. So I've decided that I can only talk about like 2 major things that happen in 10 minutes because I have so much to say about everything. So that's what I'm just going to do from now on. I'm just going to pick like 1 or 2 things that are really important to me, and that's what I'm going to talk about. So going forward, that's what you're going to get in these videos. Okay, so I think I made it clear when I was doing cast assessments that I don't like Gabe. Look, I don't like how he's trying to be a villain. It's very posery to me. And I'm not necessarily saying he's trying to be something that he's not. I don't necessarily, I mean, I don't know the man. Maybe he's a great guy when he's not competing on reality television, but it's not really giving that to me. I'm just going to be honest. So I'm not a fan at all. What Gabe decided to show us in this episode is his sexism at a minimum and misogyny at a maximum, because he wants to work with Carolyn and Sue because they're wounded birds. Okay, first of all, it may seem like they have no one else to work with. They just have you, but they're not wounded birds. Nobody's done anything to them. It just seems like they may or may not be on the bottom of the tribe in the hierarchy. Also, so we saw the situation that happened at the challenge where Gabe's tribe lost. I can't remember the tribe names, y'all. Sorry. Gabe's tribe lost. And TK makes because Jeff basically says to the tribe, wow, I see a lot of smiles. Y'all lost. What are you smiling at? And TK basically says, which was horrific social game, says, oh, I don't know why people are smiling. Like, I don't associate with people that are okay with losing. Like, I don't want to work with people like that, blah, blah, blah. And Tiana's rolling her eyes and makes a face. So Gabe, they go back to camp, and Gabe decides that, you know, Tiana's really upset about what TK said, and that means that she's gonna vote with her emotions, and maybe I can get her to vote with us and vote TK out. No. If Tiana is working with TK and then she sees him be so reckless in a social situation, that means you're not thinking, you're not being methodical in what you're doing. And maybe that's not somebody I want to work with, because he could rub somebody the wrong way that has power, that has influence. And let's say you're working with him. This is thinking way ahead, but let's say you're working with him after the merge. He wins immunity. He can't be voted out. So then you get voted out because you're his number one ally. So Tiana could be thinking, it's not good for my game to keep this guy if he's going to conduct himself in this matter. That's not making an emotional decision. That's making a strategic decision. And I like what Tiana said in the episode, basically about saying, like, you don't have to like somebody to work with them, which is something I say all the time. Now, Tiana made the decision to vote TK out. He went home. Me personally, I would have tried to keep him a little bit longer, just because the early challenges, there is so much of a strength element involved. But do I think it's horrific for her game that she voted him out? No. Do I think this means that she's going to continue to vote with Gabe and Sue and Caroline? Not necessarily. But here's the thing. TK went home. So now Gabe, Sue, and Caroline can control the vote if they want to. So what Tiana needs to do is Tiana needs to work on pulling either Caroline or Sue, most likely Caroline, away from Gabe. Oh, and Gabe, you're not winning. Like, You played your idol for no reason. You think you can take Caroline and Sue to the end and beat them? Never gonna happen. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. See ya!